know but don't show phase, there's some, as somebody mentioned already, lemmings perhaps coming into this. If they know but don't show is bullish, then as the price starts moving, they start pressing, they start building, they start adding, they start adding, they start adding, they press, they press, they press, they press. Yeah? So this is the quiet knowing but not showing. This is the passive phase. This is the aggressive press phase. And then this is the get out phase. This is when they pass the risk to somebody that's an idiot at the top edge. They pass that risk off, don't they? They say, thank you, I've made my money. They pass off the risk, and they possibly start knowing about a sell trade coming up, and they don't show it. They start doing the sell trade. When you look at this, the profile ends up looking a little bit like this at this stage. Yeah? That's what that looks like, doesn't it? They're buying at the high price. They're buying at the high price when they know there's plenty of sellers. They're buying at the high price when they know there's plenty of sellers. They're buying at the low price. They're buying at the low price, but there's not a lot of volumes in there. There's spike volumes, but not a lot of volume total. And that provides a little bump in these markets in here, a little bump in volumes in these areas. But the big profile is really in this area here. Well, this is the no but don't show phase, isn't it? This part here is this part here. This press is obviously this part here. And the get out phase is this part here. And that's why profile ends up getting developed, because inside the meat of a profile, of course, everybody's doing their best to get as much at as good a price as possible, but it's quite hard to get as good a price as possible during that phase, right? So when you think about trading, this is exactly right. This is exactly how this whole process works. The get out phase is passing the risk on to bad traders at the top edges. The get out phase is passing that risk to those bad traders at the high price, letting them take the risk at the top edge. And that's when you start seeing things like the art trade into the bottom edges or the art trade into the top edges, right? So when I see that acceleration there, this is the get out phase for the sellers, but it could also be the get in phase for the quiet buyers, can't it? Because now I've got a big discount, I might as well take a buy trade. I must have an attempt at it. But let's take a look at the bottom edge as it evolves here. We don't see any real value at the moment, do we? But when it turns back down into the bottom edge prints, look at the value starting to show up again here. This was into 9 o'clock at that stage. Oopsies. Bloody hell, stupid dumbass. This was into that little bit of a bottom edge here. But you can see how much discount is in that. Look, if I zoom out a little bit, look how much discount is in that trade right there. The equity price has never been any lower at that stage. Look, that's where the equity valuation is for that trade, correct? That's what alpha is. Obviously, you can't trade it because of the short-term alpha. But when we look at it in terms of the big picture alpha, are you starting to recognize the possibility that these big surges of volume in these areas here are maybe connected to the fact that we've got a huge amount of discounted alpha on these downticks, very passively accumulating into those phases, passively accumulating into those buy phases on the S&P. And then obviously the takeaway from that was pretty damn good. Now what happened next? Well, take a look at what happened in here. Does anybody see any alpha developing in this point? Well, there was some alpha to sell into at the top edge, wasn't there? There was a little bit of alpha to sell into up here. Price drops. And then there was a little bit of alpha into the bottom edge here. And you started to see those are additional. So look at the surges in volume. See the surges in volume into that low price? And what happened next? Boom. Look at the macro shape of that chart. Is that not an impressive shape of chart, guys? Yes or no? I mean, I think that's pretty damn good. Take a look at the top edge now. What do you think's happening at the top edge with that large up candle right there? Do you think Mike's Lemmings alert's just gone off? Does anybody agree that there's a reverse trend line break there on that candle? Does that look like a Lemmings trade right there? Well, I hope you've got your sell in place. I hope you've taken your short trade against that Lemming. There's a nice opportunity to work into the short trade right there, isn't there? All you had to do was find the Lemming and jump on board. And it was a reasonable sell off that price, 75s. It's dropped down to a low price of 66s. It's a pretty big profit, by the way, for that very small trade. But considering you started to buy down here when it was trading at 31s, it's a very big trade when you started to buy down here when it was trading at 37.10s. It's a $3,500 trade right there, guys. $3.5 grand worth of a buy side upside movement into a Lemming top edge, into a bag hold with huge volume. And that's a great example of that bag hold principle right there, isn't it? Great example of what a bag hold looks like. The buyers are saying, wow, let's jump on board like nuts. The market maker facilitates their madness by pulling away the liquidity at the top edge. And everybody pours in behind that trade into the 75s. And then they just shut the door behind them and close off the trade there beautifully. What a great trade by the market makers. Crazy good. Crazy good, crazy good. I still haven't got any FTSE trades. I've been waiting to see if I can pick up a bit of FTSE business somewhere, but I've not. I've been successful at this stage. I was hoping with the bid on the pound that I was going to get a big discount on the FTSE, but I've got a discount, but it's not big enough. You can see that the pound against this prior swing here, you can see that we've got a little bit of value as a price. We've got a little bit of value as a price breaks south out of this area here, but because it was on a downtick here, I was just waiting on literally one more candle at that stage. And I was going to fire in a tweet about it, trying to buy into this area here. Would have been a very obvious trade for me, but it just came up just that tick or two short, and it rallied back off that price. And it's just stuck into this. It's just stuck into that trade level, isn't it? Yeah, so that's something you're going to be kind of aware of, yeah. Cash open in 15 odd, guys. Cash open in 15 odd minutes.